I joined the service because there were rumors, strong rumors, that nurses were going to be drafted. And a group, several other of my colleagues we talked it over and we said, we're not going to stay here and be drafted. And we were sure the draft was coming because at that time the hospitals were required to categorize the nurses as to whether they were essential or non-essential. And nurses were being non-essential, so we said, rather than be non-essential and drafted, we're going down and volunteer. And at that time, the Red Cross did the recruiting for the military nurses. So we went down to Grace Ferries Road where the Red Cross were and volunteered and were accepted. I was the only one that went to the Army. The others went to the Navy.
What did you consider to be the most challenging aspect?
I have 3 that I can think of right off. Okay. And one of them was the exercise to abandon ship. Now, to do that, they had a training ship, just wood and anything. We got up one side of that and got on that training ship. But we had to come down the side of the ship in a scramble net. And to me, that was a bit unnerving. But later, I was glad we had had enough practice of it, because going into Manila, the ship could not bring us into port because of the wreckage in the harbor. And so we had to leave the ship on an LST. Now that's a landing vessel. And
with a tank, right?
No, not a tank. It was
landing ship tank? It has tanks on it? No.
No, it wasn't a tank. It was, you see them all the time in the pictures where the troops land in them. So to get to that LST, we had to come down to scramble net. So
were you stepped on? Were your fingers stepped on?
No,
come down fast?
No, they could have been if but everybody, I think, was well. They knew there was somebody under them. You didn't come down too fast. But
what were the other 2 challenging
the
aspects?
other 2 challenging, one was to fire an M1 rifle. So we were issued the rifle and we were taken out to the firing range. And I did fire the rifle. I knew the names of all the parts of it, but I completely missed the target. But very fortunately, we were not armed. But the reason they said that we should do this exercise was that the Japanese were not
honoring
the Red Cross that was on our tents. And so it was for that purpose, but it wasn't necessary because we never used it. We didn't know that when we were doing it, and we went through the training.
So this was already the end of 44, the last few months of the war?
The last few months, yes.
So we knew what the Japanese had done overseas.
Yes. And the third thing was to swim 50 yards in fatigues. Now, I can swim, or could swim, but I couldn't swim 50 yards in fatigues.
And boots?
Yes, just the way that you would abandon ship.
Right.
Go with what you have. And then the instructor said, he didn't disqualify me. He said, there'll be enough of us there, and we'll rescue you. Very assuring, like. But yes, that was very similar as far as routine. The one difference was at Temple we were on 8-hour duty, and then during the war it was a 12-hour tour. And you went on duty the same as you would in a civilian hospital, but you'd have get the report say in the morning, and then you would do routine beds and that type of, and then the doctors would make rounds, and you'd do the paperwork, make the changes in diets and medications and treatments. Then you'd give the treatments and serve the trays and the food, and from but any of these duties throughout the day could be interrupted for an alert evacuation of the hospital. So you would have to be prepared if that happened.